Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics pre-lockout chat ahead of round 12, the first of the bye weeks. Looking forward to this bye period. As I've said a lot of times throughout the week, I'm your host, Bales, and you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials. And joining me is my fellow co-host and AFL Fantasy Fanatic, Jordox, but he's not currently where he's residing. He's in Sydney at the moment. So good day, Jordox. How you going?
Hey, mate. Hey, everyone. Yeah, it's timed out pretty well. Just got to my hotel. I'm in Sydney for work this weekend, and we actually hung around the airport a little bit because I think the Crows plane was landing, so we wanted to try and find where they were, but no luck. But here I am, ready to talk ahead of the first of the bye rounds. Eh?
Yeah, exactly. You going to the game tomorrow night?
I'm not. I've got a work thing tomorrow night.
Who planned the work?
Yeah.
Who planned the work thing on a Saturday night when the Crows are playing in Sydney? Of all times, it's the only time they're playing Sydney this year, and it's got to be the one day.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that's really on their mind when doing these events. But yeah, it is a shame because if it was Sunday or tonight But anyway, I'm all good. I'm all good. I'm gonna watch the game tonight. It should be good.
Yep, exactly. Looking forward to it. But as we said, first of the bye rounds, and we did have a game last night. A bit of an interesting one there. Essendon definitely a lot closer than what I thought. I think I ended up tipping them by about 40-odd points, Brisbane by about 40 points, and Essendon looked like they were going to win it there for a bit. So, but Brisbane did get over the line in the end. We all obviously go in depth more of these on Sunday night, but just quickly we'll sort of touch on what happened. So, the human luggage, 152, if you don't mind. Of course, I've got him in a draft league, and I'm going to bypass the fact that I forgot to put the VC on him and not the captaincy, but I had the captaincy on him, so I had a massive score. But we're on buys this week in draft, which a lot of draft leagues are. So that was fantastic. But 152, he might be a sneaky option at the moment, the way that he is going. That's for sure. Jai Caldwell, who I was pretty keen on, I think a few of us were keen on him on Tuesday night. He went 128, massive third quarter as well. Ended up having 17 disposals in that quarter and scored a 62. And that was 66. They took a tackle away from him, unfortunately. But 128, that's a massive score if you went for him this week. Nick Martin continues his fantastic year with another 116. So besides those, I think he had the two scores sub 100, and then he had a 105 against the Dogs when he got smashed. Every other score's been over 116, and it's been over 120. This was his first game under 120 in those big ceiling games. So he's just killing at the moment. I think he's clearly the F2 moving forward behind Baz. Will Ashcroft got a 102 as well. Got there in the end. A lot of touches, not a lot of marks or tackles, but still got there. Zach Merritt, though, Jordox, played half back. 94, had 7 kick-ins, played on from 6. So that's just, come on, Zach, you know that you got to play on from all your kick-ins. But he had 7. Redmond had 5. Obviously, Brisbane kicked a few behinds. But does this maybe change if Merritt's going to be in this role? Do you think that he's almost more of a must-have the way if he's going to rack up back there?
Not so much a must-have. It's kind of similar to Rosie. Let's see how if it takes. I think it will. Before the season started, I did think Merritt was someone that might regress this year as they start to use him around the ground in different spots to accommodate their midfield that's coming through.
Pretty sure they used him in defence across the pre-season, I'm pretty sure.
And now with all those injuries, I mean, it feels like every week the Bombers have lost another defender of sorts. So, it's something they tried. I've seen a bit of commentary on why wouldn't you have your best mid around the ball and why wouldn't you? But I don't know. I think it kind of makes sense to me. The captain down in the back line just to calm things down. And, it's not as if the midfield struggled without Merritt in there. I mean, I'm pretty sure they won the clearances last night, and
they got,
Caldwell,
plenty of midfielders. They got Caldwell, Setterfield, Durham obviously got injured, but they've still got Hobbs who's still coming through. Dylan Shield didn't play in this game. Darcy Parish didn't play in this game. They've had other guys run through. There's Sardis as well. Like Nick Martin had a season high, I think it was 62% CBA. So it's like they've got guys through there. So it's like if this sticks, I think that I was pretty sort of less optimistic on Merritt, particularly before the bye, and then maybe rest of the season just with some of those tags. But if he's playing this halfback, if he's going to be playing a halfback role, we're going to need him in. It's simple as that. He might not get DP this season, But if it was, imagine Merritt as a defender next year, that would be something to definitely keep an eye on. But he looked pretty good there. The only reason he didn't go bigger was because the marks. He just only had the 4 marks. He only had a 10-point first quarter. I think he had a pretty quiet last quarter as well, or third quarter, 1 to 2. So that could have been a massive score. So Nono's probably got away with him, but not putting up a big score. We'll see if that role 6 or if he goes back into the mids next week and beyond. Zorko, 90, was getting some attention mainly in the first half, but got to a respectable score in the end. He was number 5 in the captain. So, not a great score from him in terms of the captaincy. Josh Dunkley with an 82. That's the second week in a row that he himself late. That was another poor one. That's his first score below 90 for the year. And he's been pretty average the last sort of month or so. I think he's only had the 1 ton, and that was a pretty low one there. I'm just pulling up his numbers here. So 82 obviously last night, 93, 94 before that, then a 111, 106, 113, then 97, 98. And that was after starting with 4 tons. So we know Dunkley does this. He's going to go into a stretch at some point where he's going to go 120 for like a month, but he's going to get cheap for people, and I still think he's a top 8 midfielder, so he's going to be closer to the $1 million mark next week.
He's interesting, Bales, though. He's interesting to watch. I mean, he's playing a very different. It's a different sort of Dunkley this year. I think we talked about that on one of the pods recently. That he's not hitting the ceiling scores, but he's been consistent. But just watching him last night, like he went to Caldwell to shut him down, and don't know. I'm a bit worried about his scoring if he's going to be that defensive mid. I'm not sure we're necessarily going to see that month or stretch where he goes big this year.
Yeah, definitely something to be keeping on for sure. Kai Lohman, my boy, very, very happy with him as a trade-in with the 79. That was with 3 free kicks.
Beautiful.
That was with 3 free kicks against. Watching that game, I felt like he left points on the table, and that's with the 7-9. So I'm definitely very, very happy with the way that he looked.
How were you feeling just before quarter time when he went down the race?
I threw the babies out. I threw the toys out the cot. Threw the babies out of the cot. That would have been interesting. I threw the toys out the cot. I was like, here we go. And I hear Alistair Lynch saying Kai Lohman's been subbed out, and I look and he's on the field, and I'm like, I was stressed, and all of a sudden I was like, hey, he's back. So it was quite interesting.
Did you do a watch along last night?
No. I did a game day stream right with Tom, and it sort of ended just before the game started, so I didn't have time to get it all set up.
Just would have gone back to watch your reaction to Lohman in that first quarter if he was going off.
Yeah, there would have been some profanities used in that one for sure. But Levi subbed out. Levi subbed out on 57 as well. That was unfortunate. He was looking like he was actually going to get to a 70, 75. He's going to drop it in cash. I think you can trade him out, but I'm almost still happy to hold him until he's buy. And then Angus Clark, 42. I think he played better than what his score suggests. I thought he was actually quite good out in the wing, so I think he'll be fine moving forward. Make some good cash. Day Wicks as well might be a forward rookie. I think he showed some good moments in this game. 41, obviously not a huge score, but could just be a rookie to downgrade to. Zach Johnson, a few Eston fans were pretty bullish on him, even though he only scored 34. And they said he showed some good signs. So I think he might be someone that we can still target, even though he had a low score, depending on what other rookies we get. So we'll touch into our trades, and we'll go captains, and then we'll answer your questions. So if you are tuning in live, get your comments in the chat, and we'll answer those. Limits has left us a little super chat. No question, just super chat. So thanks, mate. Very much appreciate the little super chat there. But yeah, George, what did you do with your trades this week? Obviously, it feels good. We have 3 trades. We could make a lot more moves. So what did you do with your 3 moves this week?
Well, I've just done the one. So last night I did El Hawley to Angus Clark, which was a bit of a no-brainer. And I reckon what I'll be doing, and I can't actually believe I'm doing this, so maybe you or those watching and listening can talk me out of it, but I think I'm getting Tom Stewart, the trainer. So the trainer Stewart, and then, Cooper Simpson to probably Gray. I like that defender forward status that the Richmond boy has, because you can swap him around with Martin. Well,
Corey's just said here, started Stewart round 1, bringing him back in. Do I hate myself, Bales? I don't mind the Stewart play. I was very keen on it when he played last week, and then sort of as the week's gone on, I'm like, oh, I can still do a better upgrade. I'll probably do that. I got a few other guys instead. I don't mind it, especially if that's what you can get to. I don't know if you've got more cash in the bank that can get you that better upgrade, or if you're planning to use that next week. But I'm happy to, if that's the best you can get to. You fix up a few red dots and you're going trainer up for him. I'll still tick that off. Worst case is something happens to Stuart, and then you can trade him out next week. It's not going to hurt you. Best 18. In terms of the rookie, though, I wouldn't be going Campbell Gray. I know the defender forward status is very, very handy, but Bolt will be back at any point. Well, I don't know what games will be back for, maybe next week, and you'll be out. I would actually go for, I think I was listening to Jet talk about this, and I think Isaac Keeler from St Kilda is who I'd look at. Forward rookie, played in defence, 284. We touched on him on Tuesday night, but I didn't actually really realise he played a defensive role. But with all their injuries, he looked all right. Either that or even a Caleb Smith in defence. I don't mind him as well.
I like Caleb Smith. Yeah,
it could be the sub though. That's the only thing. But he plays before Keeler anyway, so I'm sure you might have some DPP.
I think it's going to be a forward. I think it's going to be a forward kid.
Oh well, there you go. Well, I think I'd be going Keeler because I think he's probably got the ability to stay in that team for a little bit longer.
Or I could go. Or I could go trainer to like McAuliffe to a mid, which I think would actually.
You know who I'd get over McAuliffe? You know I'd get over McAuliffe. I'd get your boy, Sam Berry. I reckon I'd get Berry. He's got the extra week of cash making. I think he's at least not going to be the sub this week. If he's sub next week, you can trade him out because they play Friday night, so you'll know. And I think he can make some good cash. Sydney have been giving up points. I think Sheldrick's also another good option that you could pivot to in that same game. I think Sheldrick with Mills out this week and then Richmond, I think are both solid. Berry's got the extra week. That's the thing that probably I like about him. But both could be sub at any point.
Last thing on my trades, and we'll move on. I think I can go Stewart and Gray or Caleb Smith, or I reckon I might be able to go Berry and McAuliffe. That does sound fun. Maybe I'll go
Berry. Go Berry and Sheldrick. I'd go Sheldrick over McAuliffe.
What do you got against McAuliffe?
I think Presti's back. Presti's back in. I'm not saying he's going to take out all those midfield time, but he's got tougher matchups than Sheldrick. Giants into Sydney. He could be the sub. He's on the bench. I think I like Sheldrick more.
No, he won't. He won't be the sub. If you watched him last week, McAuliffe, there's no way he'll be the sub. Anyway, that's enough about me. I reckon. So what do you reckon? Stewart and the kid, or the two mid prices? I've got to get Berry done. It'd be nuts if I didn't. Of all people,
you got it. He's your boy, and he's actually he's a good option. So yeah, I'd look at him. My trades this week. Two of them were locked in last night, so I ended up going Matt Carroll down to Angus Clark. Tiny bit of cash there. Went Luke Trainer down to Kai Lohman. I ended up my big thing all week was I could do the double upgrade and get Sinclair and Warner in by trading Daniel and Marek. But I thought getting Lohman from a defender rookie gives me the option to cash out of Cleary or Stone next week because there's no other forward rookies I like besides Lohman. Like the other guys, like Day Wicks, I was talking about Keeler. Like I'm not 100% sure. Like Keeler could be an option next week, right? Well, actually, no, it won't be an option next week because he's got his bye, right? So it'd be the option the week after. So that could be an easy cash out from Cleary down to him when Cleary's on bye, right? So, but I just want to give myself the option of being able to get any rookie. Like if a Lombard pops, if a Johnson did, I would have done that. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the Lohman pick. Obviously, with the 79, makes about 50 odd K this week. He'll have a single digit break even. So really happy with that to get this cash moving. I'd obviously need a bit more cash. And then I've currently gone Marek out and I've got Chad Warner. I've only got 2 premiums on buying round 14 being Dacos and Roberts. So it makes a lot of sense to get around 14. Warner's the only forward primo with the round 14 buy. I think it just makes a lot of sense in my structure. But I have contemplated getting rid of Caleb Daniel over Marek to get the extra number because I've already got a 42 from Clark and a 57 from Levi. So I'm just wondering, do I keep him there? But I think Caleb Daniel could be quite handy for the last few of the buys. So that's why I've currently got him sitting there. Let's go through quickly. We'll go through captains and then we'll be able to answer all of your questions as we lead up to lockout. So my top 12 captains ahead. So round 12 captains, my top 10 ahead of round 12. Number 1, got Bailey Smith. No surprise there. Number 1 averaging player in the game. West Coast, good matchup over at Optus. Scares me a little bit that's the last game, and who knows if they do manage him. But if he flies and plays, I think he plays really, really well. So I've got him at number 1. Max score number 2 against Marshall up in Alice Springs. 152 against Marshall last year in that game where he was nearly a laid out. We thought he had the late fitness test and he ended up playing and dominated. He's in just very, very good form. Second highest averaging player in the game. He's my number 2. Lockie Whitfield, I have still got at number 3. I know Adam Kingsley said earlier in the week we still do prefer Lockie Whitfield as a half-back, and we'll be interested to see exactly what role he plays in this game. I think regardless, if it's a forward or a defender, I think he racks up. We saw what Nick Martin did last week from a half-forward midfield sort of wing role, pushing down and getting all these touches there. So I think he'll go really well. Obviously, Lek Alia is still in the team, so still got a few of those taller defenders. So maybe Whitfield does play forward this week, but they also did bring in Josh Kelly and McMullen, who will be, I guess, those forward/mids there. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what they do with him, but I think he goes well anyway. 132 against Richmond last year. Tom Green, number 4. He's gone pretty well against Richmond. His last 3 turned up in all of them. 123 against them last year. And I think, obviously, Richmond, great matchup. I think he goes really well. So he's my number 4. Zorko, number 5, obviously dropped a 90 last night, which is unfortunate. He had a good history against Essendon. They're a good matchup, especially at the Gabba. I had Dunkley at 6, so a couple of failed ones there, just outside the top 4 there. Lockie Ash at 7, obviously the Richmond matchup, really like that. So I've got him there. Andrew Brayshaw at number 8 against Gold Coast, been a good matchup for mids of late. 136 against Gold Coast last year, so hoping for a bit of a repeat from Brayshaw there. Jordan Dawson at number 9 against Sydney hasn't gone over 103 in his 4 career games against Sydney so far because he's got attention. I wonder if he'll get attention once again in this game from a James Jordan, if they'll go to a Rankin. And then Zach Merritt was at number 10 at a good history against Brisbane. And with the lack of real strong options this week, he went into the top 10 with guys like Nasai just missing out. Who'd you go with your VC and captain this week at Jordox?
I'm going to go with Dacos tonight, which is a little bit maybe would raise an eyebrow or two.
With a fin tag?
Yep, because no one else will. And I reckon he can.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah,
carve
that's a
it
good
up
point.
Till,
mate, I hope he does. I hope he does because I'm doing a watch on for. I want to see Dacos dominate. So I hope he does.
Yeah. And there was someone. Didn't Jordan go to Dacos a few weeks ago and he scored 130? Anyway, I'm having a punt at him.
Yes. Yeah.
And then probably roll into Baz on the Sunday. Yeah, I reckon that's pretty simple there. I do like Dawson tomorrow night, but Baz on the Sunday. And then I guess people are a bit stressed because, like you said, what if he's laid out? Just make sure your price is decent.
If he flies, then it'll be fine. If you've got a Max Holmes and your VC fails, Max Holmes isn't a bad option either, just to pivot to in that last game as well.
Point. Especially if Smith's out, he'll go ape.
Yeah, I think so. For me, I'm looking at VC. I'm still undecided. I've got them 8 and 9 for a reason, so it's very hard to split. But Brayshaw v Dawson for my VC is what I'm tossing up at the moment. I think Brayshaw's more likely to go 115, 125 just because the matchup and no attention. But I'm also like, well, he doesn't have the 130, 140 ceiling with this Freo side. So, like, do I go for a Dawson to try and get that ceiling score? So it's an interesting one. I'll probably do a bit more thinking of that. Dawson will get attention, I think. I don't think Brayshaw will. So it's a tough one. I've currently got on Brayshaw at the moment, just with the better matchup, but I'm still undecided. And then obviously Baz will be my captain on the way home. So looking at those guys there. If you had to pick one, Brayshaw or Dawson?
What are Freo doing? They got the Suns, don't they?
Suns, yeah.
Yeah. I'd be going Dawson. Especially for a VC. It's a free hit, and I think the form he's in. Yes, Jordan will try, but it'll probably be a bit of a combo of him and Rankin, you'd think. Who knows? By half time, Bales, they may need to be tagging Sam Berry, so you've got to consider that as well.
Well, that's the other thing. Brayshaw's probably likely just to get a 110, 115. I'm probably going to take it, and then that you're missing out on a Baz potential massive score. Whereas if you go Dawson, he goes massive, that's fine. But if he doesn't, you're like, well, you got Baz captain. So it's an interesting one. I've been back and forth on that all week, and I'm not sort of sold on which one I'll go. So I'll probably weigh that up, but I've still got tonight and tomorrow to figure that. Maybe I'll do back my boy Dawson in because I wanted to play well anyway. We've got a couple of super chats here before we get into, well, we are going to get into the questions now. We answer these couple of super chats first. If you don't want a guaranteed answer, you feel free to put in a super chat if you'd like, but hopefully we can get to your question regardless. Tim Ashworth put the super chat. Thank you, mate. Trade in Johnson, Angus Clark, and Jack Sinclair. Is this still a good thing? Yep. Tick, tick, tick for me. Sinclair's a great in. Angus Clark obviously was the rookie to get, and Jack Johnson, Essendon fans seem to think he did some really good things last night. So I know he only scored a 34, got subbed that tactically, but I think he'll be in the team for at least a couple of weeks until they're bye with all these injuries. So I think it's fine. I think a lot of people might be targeting a guy like Johnson next week with the lack of rookies. We'll see how we go. But yeah, I'll tick for me, Jordox.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. Even on the call, the commentators noted a couple of times about Johnson things that he did that looked okay. So I think he'll get another look at least next week.
Yep, exactly. Jack Main, and also Tim, I know you dominated last week. I think you came like third overall for the week, Jordox.
Wow.
25.97, I think I heard him saying the ball boys
That's right.
streams. That's massive score. Jack Main's got a super chat here. Thank you, mate. He's going Cleary to Clark, Reed to Holmes, and Trainer to McAuliffe. Tick for all ticks for me, mate. Would you go? I'd tick them all, would you go McAuliffe over Berry and Sheldrick? I think that's the question of the week. It's like, how do you rank those three, and then you also know Halloran in?
We did this on Tuesday night, and I landed on because we had O'Halloran as well. So I think I went McAuliffe, Sheldrick, Berry, O'Halloran, and I don't know. You've got me thinking, Bales, because I've got to decide myself now because I reckon I will do that option. I'm just thinking about
all of them because we're bringing him in for cash gen. Berry's got the extra week potentially to make cash, whereas McAuliffe and Sheldrick are on 2 weeks, and that's it. And that's also that's a part of the reason why I did actually end up going for Kyle Lohman. He was cheaper, had the last buy. He's in the 22. He won't be the starting sub. That's why I end up going for him. But of these guys, obviously O'Halloran's got the last buy, but I just think that role is just not going to be there, particularly with Kelly back this week. They'll have guys come back within the next few weeks, whereas I think Berry's plays in one spot, and I think I don't think he'll be the sub this week for sure because of the way he plays.
This week. I'm just nervous.
I do worry after this because we got Brisbane into Hawthorn at tough games. Does he come on as sub to impact late in those games? That's my thinking.
Well, we've seen this. We saw this last year with Berry. Remember, he came on in that last quarter and kicked that winning goal against the Blues, and then he got a full game. But then he might have got injured or something. But it just doesn't take much for them to kick him back out, and that makes me nervous. McAuliffe, I think I landed on McAuliffe on Tuesday because I actually think his role is the most secure out of all of them, even with Prestia back. And it's a good point you make about where the buy sits. I don't know. I reckon if Jack's on Trainer to McAuliffe, I don't think I'd talk him out of that. So
yeah, great. Yeah,
if you're on McAuliffe, you may have talked me out of McAuliffe.
Yeah, I think it's just more for everyone. So a lot of people are sort of looking at this option and going, which one do I go? And it's like I think all of them have got positives, all of them got negatives. Like Sheldrick has probably got the highest upside in terms of he's a natural scorer. He's got Richmond next week, but Mills out this week, so I don't think he'll be sub this week, but maybe next week is he sub. Then he's got the bye. McAuliffe is probably the safest of not getting the sub, but he's got tougher matchups to come. Berry's got 3 games. They're all really tough for the Crows, and he won't be sub this week, but next week, who knows? And then O'Halloran, I just don't think the role really is going to be there. So it is very, very tough. I think it's probably one where it's like just whatever your gut's telling you, wherever your gut's telling you to go, I'd probably go in that part.
Tell me this, actually. Out of the 3 mids, leave O'Halloran, McAuliffe, Berry, Sheldrick. What are the break-evens?
Let me get that up on the
question
at the moment.
Notice.
Yep. So McAuliffe break even is 3. Sam Berry's break even is 8, and Sheldrick's break even is 11. So, oh, there you go. I actually did it in order. I didn't actually expect to do that. But yeah, but Berry's obviously the cheapest. He's like 460, Sam Berry. McAuliffe's the most expensive. So it's funny that McAuliffe's the most expensive and has the lower break even. So maybe that is what tips you to go McAuliffe, because he's the most expensive but the lower break even, and he's done it for a few more weeks. So McAuliffe's probably the safest play. Let's put it that way, at least for 2 weeks. But yeah, very, very interesting one. And yeah, hopefully you guys have hit the right one out of them, or hopefully all of them go well. So it doesn't matter which one you go. Let's go through some questions. Let's go through. So Brisbane Blood's got the first one. Myers or Stewart, and is Sheasel a trade to bank money? I'm still not trading Sheasel personally, but I know it can be an aggressive move. What are your thoughts on Sheasel out, and then Myers or Stewart?
No, I wouldn't be looking at trading Sheasel out myself. And then, I reckon Stewart over Myers, because I reckon he'd be cheaper.
Yeah, he's about 7 to 12 or something.
Yeah,
Myers is
super
like
cheap.
830. It's like 100K.
Yeah, I'd go Stewart.
Yeah, I'd probably go Stewart as well. But if you do want a relax-free pick, it would be Myers. But Stewart's the one that's is the high upside.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, in terms of Willie, won't he play and injuries and whatnot? But Myers, I don't know. I'd be just as nervous that he dropped 50 on my head.
I think Stewart plays to the bye, right? They because the thing Geelong will be saying is like, we're all worried about them resting him at any point. But the other thing is they got to get games into Stewart. Like if Stewart is only playing 6-7 games and they're in the finals, he's not going to be at his peak. So that he might get a rest between his bye, but his bye is 4 weeks away or 5 weeks. Well, yeah, 4 weeks away from after this game. So it's like I don't think they're going to necessarily rest him at any point before the bye. They're going to want to get him in some continuity into his body, get some games going. And yeah, so I think he plays the bye. It's just, yeah, it's obviously the worry that it's been happening a lot of times this year. So we'll see. But yeah, I'd go Stewart as well. Best 18 probably mitigates that risk a little bit as well. DJ says, I don't think 15 trades will be enough to make my team good. Mate, I feel you. I'm in the very same boat, and I think Jordox might be in a similar boat. I think Guesty's in a similar boat. The only one that's not is Jordy. So, yeah, Jordy won't be able to sort of resonate with that, but me, Guesty, and Jordox probably will. But yeah, hopefully we can push through week by week, as Roy says. We've got to be the bottom out.
It can turn quick. It really can.
Exactly. Brad McLeod saying, going Daniel out to Holmes, giving me 21. Tick this off. Yep. Yeah, Daniel can go. Holmes, if you get him in. Depends who else you can trade. If you've got a Marek, I'm probably going Marek out ahead of Daniel because I've got the same sort of 21. But I'd be going. I think the good thing with Daniel is, and if you've got someone like a Marek, you have got till the last game to make that call. So you can actually choose up until that last game to adjust your trade because they're both mid forwards. And if you've got like a lot of low scores, maybe you go, we'll keep Marek to get that point hit for the week. But yeah, I'd tick it off on the face value, Brad. So for sure. Will buy. I brought in Merritt over Caldwell. Yeah, and a few people would have done that. But if Merritt's playing this half-back role, you might get rewarded up until the bye because people that don't have Merritt now won't be getting him until after his bye because he's got bye coming up. We're going to be trying to target these round 12 guys, especially premiums now. So that's I'll be happy. Daniel's got a good question here. Take the Martin 116 VC or go for Baz captain. I'm banking the 116, I reckon.
I don't know. I feel like with the fact that it's a bye round and Baz plays in the last game, I reckon you can almost see how your week goes because that's generally how I do it.
Good point.
If my uniques are struggling, it's like, no, I need a big score here. Whereas if I'm having a pretty good week on Sunday, it's like, yeah, I'll just add 116 to that. Thank you very much.
Very good point. With the buys, you can do that, obviously, with the guys being locked out. So, yeah, Daniel, I'd lean to taking it at the moment. But, yeah, probably see how the round goes because Baz does play in the last game, which is helpful. So you can probably see how he's going. Obviously, with the Baz uncertainty as well, people saying, like, does he get rested in game, whatever. That's another good point. We'll buy it. Buzz, are you doing a watch long tonight and any other games? Yes, I will be doing a watch long for the game tonight. Collingwood and Hawthorn. Looking forward to that game. So if you guys are listening to this on the replay and you still have time or you're watching live now, we've got well over 100 people watching. If you want to head over, watch the game, get more questions answered, chat with me throughout the game, hopefully see Dacos and Ned Long dominate. That's what we'll be doing there. So head over. I'll be starting that at 7:30 Eastern. So pretty much almost directly after This one. Probably not one tomorrow night because the Crows are playing. I like to sit back and relax and watch the Crows, but who knows? Maybe I might do one. We'll see. JR, will Cleary outscore Levi? Have him on the bench with the E on him with the 57. If you've got the E, would you just take a chance on Cleary and just see? Because it's 57 might not be in your best 18 anyway, depending on how many numbers you've got.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's an awkward one, isn't it? I think I'd probably lean towards taking that. Just Cleary's. Let's have a bit of a look. I feel like it's been a while since he's posted a score better than that.
He does have the ceiling, though. We have seen it this year. He's gone a few 80s there, but he's also had some 30s. And if that score's going to count for you, I'd take the 57. But if it's not going to count for you, then you might as well just take it on.
Yeah.
When was the last time he went over 70?
Round 7. And last time he went over 57 was round 8. So he's gone 30, 30, and 50.
Yeah, and that 50 last week, he kicked 3 behinds as well. He's actually missed a fair few goals. He's actually missing a lot at the moment. So I think it's going to turn for him at some point with those goals to maybe bumps those scores up. But yeah, if it was next week, he's got Richmond. So I'd say Cleary definitely. But yeah, with this week against the Crows, obviously a bit more of a contested game. But that could also suit Cleary. Some tackles might actually be there. So yeah, depending on your numbers, if you've got over 20, I would play Cleary. But if you've got 19, I'd probably just almost back Levi. It's a tough one. It's 57's that awkward score that do you take it or don't you? Hutch, mate, boys, is Hall or Stone a bigger priority trade out? So would you trade out Max Hall, who does have the bye next week, but he's obviously playing still, or would you trade out Connor Stone, who's the red dot?
I just feel like Stone's not far away. Let me have a look at Hall.
I think Hall's more expensive. What's his break even, actually? That's probably the...
Yeah, he's made a lot. 557. He's been great, actually. As in the Saints.
Yes.
Hasn't scored much for a bit. Yeah, not sure what his break even is. Not sure.
Okay. You haven't paid up for the subscription, I guess.
I'm tight ass. I pay for the Dream Team one. And every year I say I'll pay for the fantasy one if I have a cracking start. Hasn't happened yet.
So Hall's break even is 79. But obviously before this game, he'd gone 67, 69, 70, 53. Again, this comes down to if you need him in your 18 this week, right? If you've got, if you can get rid of the red dot in Stone and still do the upgrades you want, I'd do that. But then if you need that extra cash on Hall's head, then you'd maybe trade Hall this week and then trade Stone next week. That probably depends. Or if you're going to trade Hall next week anyway, then you might as well get rid of Stone this week, trade Hall next week, maybe get a score from him. And see how you go. Depends what you need with the cash. Crinkly cut, Anderson or Tom Green? I've got 5 premiums on around 16 buy, but also don't love Anderson's inconsistency. It's a good question.
He's been better.
Anderson's been better the last 2 weeks. I think he's got Wagner into Mullen. I think that's 2 tags coming into his buy. So I don't know if I'd get Anderson. So I'd go Tom Green, but I don't love the 5 premiums on around 16 buy. I'd like to try and spread them out. I think if you get over 5, that's where you'd sort of not liking it. So round 14, I'd say if you don't have a Chad Warner, I'd go there. If you don't have a Nick Dacos, I'd arguably go there over Noah Anderson at the moment. And if you need like another buy, maybe a Sinclair or a Jack Steele. I'm just worried about the attention for Anderson. That's the only thing. But I'd probably go Anderson over. It's funny, right? Because I'd say Anderson over Tom Green for the buy, but then Tom Green's got Richmond.
Yeah, you feel like you get that sugar hit this week.
Where would you go? Is 5 premiums too? Is 6 premiums too many on round 16?
Possibly, but if you're picking between the two, I actually don't mind Anderson as something a little different. I think I'm not sure Green has been. We always talk a lot about Green, but I don't know.
He's actually Mitch made a good point. He's the 8th best midfielder in the game, averaging 101. So just showing how sort of, I guess, not as good those midfielders have been again this year. Like Dawson's number 1, clearly, but then I think Dunkley was 2, but he dropped an 80. So it's like, I think Bont might even be close to that. And hasn't gone many scores over 110. He's had a lot of low tons. So it's like, it's another interesting year for the mids again.
Hey, I'm just a little distracted because I'm doing the subs. So I'm just
all good. I can answer. No, all good. We appreciate the sub, so I can answer some questions, mate. All good. What do we got here? So I'll answer a couple of questions here. Matt D said he's got one trade left, Myers or a mid-pricer. I think if you can get Myers in, and it depends what you can use with that cash from getting a mid-pricer. What's your team value looking like? All that sort of stuff. I'd probably lock in the better score in Myers, but if you need the cash for next week, if your team value is not looking great, then maybe you do go the mid-price. And obviously we're talking about McAuliffe or Berry or Sheldrick, so it's a tricky one. Who have we got to sub tonight, Jordox?
Hey, who did you think was going to tag Dacos?
Oh, Finn, is he the sub?
He's a sub.
Yes!
Let's go, Dacos.
Well, again, I think Nash or someone will do something with Dacos, but at least we don't have Finn there. Course. So that's actually a bit of a relief. So Finn McGuinness is a sub. Who's a sub for the Pies?
Lockie Sullivan. I'm just double checking there's no laid outs. It doesn't look like there is.
Yep. Cool. What do we got here? We got a good old Nathan. Nathan from Hat Chat, coach of the Oakmans. Good day, Nathan. Appreciate you tuning in, mate. Saying for reference, I'm taking the 57, but this is because he'll count for me. So that's a good point. If you expecting Levi's 57 to count for you, so if you've got 21, but you've got Angus Clark already, Levi Ashcroft, Hugh Boxall, any of these, like if you've got another 3 or 4 of those guys, if you're taking 57 is probably the play. But if you've got 16 really good scorers and Levi was going to be one of those last 2 and you've got a Lindsay and a Bice and maybe a few of the other guys that can hit a score, maybe you take it on. But yeah, it's a good one there. But Nathan, mate, hope you're going well and appreciate you tuning in, mate. Jelly time, take Martin VC or Brayshaw/Baz captain. So Jelly time, as we're probably saying, probably see how the rest of the round goes. I'd be going Baz over Brayshaw. He's got the ceiling and the better matchup. I've got him at number 1. What?
Who'd you go?
Baz.
Oh.
What do you think?
I heard you say something else.
No, I said
not a
Baz.
nice word.
No, I said Baz.
Sorry, carry.
Yeah, take him there as a captain and see how the rest of the round goes. I would take the VC personally at the moment. 116 is a very good score. You'd be pretty happy if your captain went that. But just see how the rest of the round plays out. And maybe if you're going low, maybe you need that pop score. But at the moment, I'm taking the 116 and I'd have Smith there as a backup. John Nichols, boys, I'm hovering around the 1K mark. Nicely done, mate. Nice. Very would be amazing to be there. I'm hovering around the 1K plus 9K mark. So I'm around the 10K mark. So I'm thinking going full send to push up the ranks. Can I trade Shees out to get Holmes? I already have 6 defenders with Roberts at D6. It is a play. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. It's a play. He's got West Coast post buy, regardless of role. I think he scores well. I just don't think he's going to stay in that just deep forward role all season. And Collingwood are tough to score against. It's his first score below 90 for the year.
Yeah, and he's still got to 80. It's like, it'd be like trading Whitfield out. He had one game where they played him a bit forward and still got to 80. I know it's different because there's a history of them doing this with Shees, but I don't know. I just feel like, I don't actually have him, do I, in this one? No, I don't have Sheasel. So the thought of someone trading him out, like he's someone I've got to get by the end of the year at some point. So, but we do funny things in the buys, so it is a little different to a regular round.
Yeah. Oh, Nathan, if you're still tuning in, mate, I know you're the North fan. What do you reckon happens with Sheasel going forward? And what you do with Shees, that'd be good to see what you think. But Nathan does say here, I thought I was safe. I just needed one of Ashcroft, Johnson, Clark, Hasty, or O'Connell to go over 60. And I was happy, but that is not the case. Good to listen. Obviously with O'Connell dropped, Hasty didn't make the cut again, and then Clark low score, Johnson low score, and Ashcroft 57. You would have thought at least one of them would have gone 60. But unfortunately, with the way the rookies have been this year, just when we think we're getting good with rookies, they drop a stinker or something happens. Crinkly cut is still a valid option over Green. Yeah, hell yeah, I think he is for sure.
Who's that?
Jack Steele.
Oh, Jack Steele.
Green.
Yeah.
I think Jack Steele over Tom Green's an option. If it works better for your buys, particularly.
I wonder what. I mean, last week was his first big score for a while. He's been chipping away with tons, which has been great. I wonder what that McRae out actually did. Did that open things up a little bit for him?
I think for a week it did, but also probably has given him a bit more of a step, like a bit more sort of confidence, getting a bit more of the ball. He'd just been in there for tackles. I think this will be good for Steele. We know Steele back half of the year goes well every year. St Kilda start getting a few more. Like Sinclair's the same. I think he goes well back half of the year. If it works better for your buys, I'd probably go Steele over Green. I think I've got more trust that he can get to a ton each week. Green can go anywhere from 85 to 110 any week.
Hey, Nathan replied.
Yep.
Shees will stay forward a bit. Shees will stay forward a bit because Hardiman is playing a good role for us there, and potentially Will Phillips to come in too. Yeah.
So it's good. It's a good point.
Good.
Talking about Hardiman, he's someone I think that if everyone's looking at your Sheldricks, your McCallets and guys like that this week, I think DC flagged on Sunday night and they talked about it on the Hat Chat pod as well. Even Nathan said, I think Hardiman is someone to be definitely looking at next week. I'm even looking at that next week, going a rookie sideways to him there. Nathan did just say that if you can afford to be aggressive and use the cash to make some unreal ideal trades, and I like trading him, but I'm in the minority in the community about how aggressive I'm planning on being on buy. Yes, I think it's a team by team one. If you need some something to get yourself up the ranks, maybe trading him out is a play. But if you're up there, maybe holding him's the smart play. We will see.
Hey, Bales, there's a question from earlier I wanted to answer just because it made me laugh.
Go ahead. Yep.
So about 15 minutes ago, Corey said at Jordox. So Jordox, if Stewart gets injured in the first quarter, is there any way to stop the TV remote from smashing my TV? Any tips? So if you have Apple TV and you're watching KO through Apple TV and you have an iPhone, you can use your phone as a remote. Put the remote away. You're less likely to throw your phone at the TV because you don't want to break your phone. This is what I do. I solve problems for people.
Mate, love it.
Back on with it
now. Darcy Durand, is Noah Anderson a better option than Cozzy? Yes. I don't like the Cozzy pick.
Yeah, you still don't like him.
In Cozzy in game day squad, I've got him on my side this week, and he goes well this week. I'll play him in your DFS stuff, your daily ones. As a season-long guy, you're bringing in, he's nearly 900K. You're bringing him in. Is your top 6 forward? I don't think so. I think that Viney's back this week. I think Cozzy's pick. Cozzy, we've seen this before. Cozzy goes on a stretch of scoring 90+, and then he'll drop a few 50s. It's just the way. Like he's like Bolton's the same. Pickett, these guys that just play midfield and forward.
I agree in essence, and I would agree Anderson over Pickett, but this is a different Pickett. This isn't.
Like, if you reckon that the Pickett's a bit more closer to Rankin in terms of his scoring build? Is that what you're thinking? Maybe.
I mean, he's better than Rankin at the moment in scoring. Like he's gone 3 tons in a row. Before that, couple of 60s, which funnily enough was against Richmond and West Coast. And then the 3 before that, 87, 99, 118. So he's played, 8 games for 4 tons and a 99. Yeah. Anyway, I just think he's awesome. And it's
Viney coming in does scare me a bit. So I'd be going for Noah Anderson there for sure. Louis O'Leary,
he's their best midfielder, Pickett. That's all I'll say. Melbourne.
Yeah. It could be Clayton Oliver based on the way he played on the weekend. Pretty good. Louis O'Leary, Daniel to Sinclair with 370K for 2 rookies off field next week. Should I stick with Sinclair or go for someone else? Only have 1 preem on the round 13 buy. No, go for Sinclair. You only got 1 preem on the round 13 buy. 370K next week. You're either guaranteeing yourself getting a guy like a Bont or a Matt Kennedy, or you can get 2 guys. You might be able to get a couple of upgrades. So I'd be definitely doing that still. I'd tick that off for sure. Darcy Duran, what about Sarong? I'm not sure. What do you think? He's cheap, but he's cheap for a reason. He just isn't consistent.
Well, he's actually been somewhat consistent, just consistently poor this year. Don't know. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he, had a strong finish, but I'm just not sure what his deal is. He's accumulating enough touches.
He just doesn't get the marks and tackles, which you've like. I flagged it on one of the watch songs or one of the videos I did earlier in the week. Jordan Dawson had 27 disposals last week and scored a 139. There were guys like Tom Green had 25 touches and scored an 85. They're just, and I'm not talking that Dawson's like this the best player in the comp at the moment. He probably is very close to that at the moment, right? But Dawson, Bont, Merritt, guys like that rack up the marks and the tackles are the guys that are going to be consistently over that 105, 110 average. There are a lot of mids at the moment. I think Sarong's in the boat. Tom Green's in there. Sam Walsh at the moment's in that same boat. I think Noah Anderson at times is in that boat as well, but can also be in the top bracket. They just get 30-something touches a week, but they'll get 1 mark, 2 tackles, and they'll get like a 104 or something like that. They'll get a low ton. Whereas these other guys that have that score build, Dunkley has been that, and he's getting low touches, which is why he's not going these 120s, 130s, and maybe he doesn't get there this year with McCluggage going well, Neil going well, Will Ashcroft going well. Maybe that's the flag on Dunkley moving forward as well. So, yeah, just something to note. Pranjit Singh, start Scott Penderbury or Josh Kelly? I'm assuming this is a draft question. If you can loop Scott Penderbury tonight as emergency, I'd do that. I'm sure you might be able to with the buys, but if you've got to play one, is it Josh Kelly against Richmond? First game back, I know, but the upside's there.
Yeah.
I think I'll be going there. Matt says, currently going Reed to Nasiah, Trainer to Clark, and Daniel to either Tom Grant, Andrew Brayshaw, or Lockie Ash. Who would you recommend to get out of those 3 banking 250K? Well, obviously, one of our coaches, Jordy, is very, very keen on Lockie Ash this week, and he is going him. I'd be hard-pressed to argue against that, out of the 3. I think depending on who works better for your buys, I think Brayshaw's still a pretty nice pickup. He's pretty consistent. I'd go Brayshaw over Green.
It'd be hard to, I would too. It'd be hard to go past Brayshaw, even with Ash, I reckon.
Yeah, just depend again. Buys round 13 versus round 16. What do you need? What are you doing? But he's banging 250K regardless, I think. So you got a lot of cash in the bank. So
very nice.
Yeah, Brayshaw Ash for me. I like Brayshaw's matchup, and he's got Essendon and North Melbourne all the other way around post buy. So some good matchups to come for Brayshaw. Eliza went Reed and Hayes to Clark and Johnson. Yep, that's fine. Obviously, Johnson's not great, but still fine. Do I go Trainer to Holmes or Berry? Johnson on bench and 22 on field this week, so cashing up is tempting. I think, is it Holmes still? Just get him in.
Who was the other one?
Berry, your boy.
Holmes or Berry? Sorry, I don't think I heard that question properly.
Hit
me again.
Reed and Hayes to Clark and Johnson are done. They're the trades that are locked in. Do I go Trainer to Holmes or Berry? I think I'm still locking in the upgrade in Holmes.
Yeah. I think so.
I know you got 22 on field, Eliza, but I'd still be banking the upgrade in Holmes.
Just the fact that it's your third trade. If this was your first trade, and it's like, well, Berry opens up a whole different avenue, but no, it's just your last one. I'd be sticking with Holmes.
I think the big point is if people can get an upgrade this week, do it, because if someone said to me you can get Riley Hardiman next week for at the same price, I'd go Hardiman over all these guys. Hardiman's got West Coast next week, good matchup. I think Hardiman scores better and is more secure in his role than what even Berry, Sheldrick, McAuliffe, O'Halloran and that are. So if you got, that's another reason why I let Lohman this week. So I'm like, well, I can go get Hardiman next week and get him as my D6 just till the end the buys and upgrade him at round 17, and he's my final upgrade. So that's my plan anyway. So I'd probably say if you can do that, that would be something else as well, Eliza, you can do. What do we got here? We got still a heap of questions running through. We'll go live for a couple more minutes because I'll end up finishing up very shortly just to get the watch long ready to go. Bella, Green or O'Halloran plus 300K for an upgrade next week. So Toby Green or O'Halloran? I think I'm still Toby Green.
I reckon I'm O'Halloran. I don't know. I'm nervous about the Green move.
You can get Hardiman next. I don't love the Green move either. And actually, to be fair, sorry, just thinking about it right now, Drew Jones posted a bit of a video earlier today on Goat Fantasy that Toby Green was injured, actually, and I think it was an ankle, and he did injure his ankle against Geelong, if people remember. So actually, thinking about that now, maybe it is O'Halloran to save cash. I just don't know if I love the O'Halloran pick.
I mean, they're playing the Tigers. Yeah, playing Tigers. Yeah. So I don't think I'd go
Halloran out of the two now, I reckon.
Yeah. But just on that, like if Toby Green's a little bit lame, I think that they just pull him. Yeah.
Rest
so
forward,
if he plays, he'll be right. I don't know. It just feels a little bit of a trap, the Green, what's happening with him at the minute.
Yeah. I think about it a lot more now and remembering that injury news. I'd go Halloran and the cash to fix up next week. Footy Frenzy, Daniel to Green or Stone to Berry? We'll just talk about Toby Green. I think it's definitely Stone to Berry, though. Get rid of a red dot to a guy making money. Daniel's going to be good for you next week, and you can trade Daniel post-buys anyway. Reese Bell, g'day, boys. Daniel to Myers and bank cash, or go the Chad, who has Richmond next week, 120 plus incoming. Also, Caldwell risk pays off. What a gun. Obviously, Caldwell, great pickup last night, mate. Very nicely done. I would be going Chad Warner. And the reason I'd be going Chad Warner is not just for because he's the more close to top 6, but he's the only forward with the round 14 bye. So he gives you a chance to loop a couple of those forward rookies in round 14 to maybe count for you, and he won't affect you as much as what some other premiums will. So I am Warner. Are you going Warner as well?
Yeah. I think you've explained it well there, but I agree.
Yeah. Will Bide, are you doing a Saturday night watch long? Not at the moment. Crows will be playing. So at the moment, I'm relaxing, watching. I'll be watching that. But as I said, I'll let people know. If you turn notifications on the YouTube channel, you'll know when I go live or before the premiere starts of any videos. So turn notifications on so you don't miss when I'm live. So if I do decide to do an impromptu stream or watch long, then you get notified there. J, AFL MTB, Holmes, Nasiah, or Ash. I have three primos with the round 13 bye and 5 with round 16. Well, I think if that's the case, I think Nasiah is the pick then.
Yeah, I like Nasiah out of those 3.
Yeah, I like Holmes for the value, but to even out your buys, I think it's got to be Nasiah for sure. And Nasiah's been killing it this year. He's a great pickup, and as I've said plenty of times, Jordox. Got to get the Crows. Got to get him over. Louis Leary. Next week, is it worth getting one rookie off for Bont or Lindsay and Bice for Bergman and Chera? Carlton have got a great run. We can talk about this next week, but I don't know if I'd be trading into Chera next week because he's still expensive and he's been good, but he hasn't put up a lot of those 110 plus scores. So he's been a great pick, and a lot of people are very happy with him. But in terms of a target, I haven't owned him all year. I'm not looking at targeting him personally. I think Bont would be the pick. Bergman, who knows what role he's going to play. I think Bergman's an option, but we just really need to see how that Port team looks next week. So a good question for next week, Louis. We can revisit that. But something to put on the agenda for next week for sure. Will bite Daniel to Myers or someone else under 891k or Stone to Sheldrick? I think it's Stone to Sheldrick. So would you go there?
891. Yeah.
Well, 891. You got Myers, Jackson, obviously with Darcy back though. Toby Green. It's in a bit of a weird area where it's like it's not quite the upgrade you want. So, and Daniel's going to be handy after this week as well, right? So,
Cozzy Pickett 889.
Oh no, Daniel to Cozzy Pickett is so sideways. Could definitely not endorse that, but if you want to hit
I'm not either.
Yeah, I was going to say, people might say if you want to hit a 6, but I think that's probably just swinging and missing, unfortunately. I couldn't do it. Crinkly cut out of Anderson. Yeah, crinkly cut out of Anderson, Steele, or Green. Who's most likely to be a top 8 mid? I think they're probably almost as likely as each other. Like Anderson is good when he's not getting attention. Jack Steele's great, but did he just go massive last week because McRae was out? Is he more closer to just the 195
well, when you
mid?
say,
and Tom Green is the number 8 mid at the moment. So
when you say top 8 from here to the end, that means everyone starts at 0, right? So
yeah,
who's the most likely to score the most? And
If I had to pick one, I'm probably
Oh,
going Jack Steele at this very moment. At this very moment, it's probably Jack Steele, but St Kilda have actually got a really nice 5-week stretch from I think up until round 22, where they got Giants in the final game.
Yeah,
but they got a nice.
Let's go with Steele, but that's a good question. It's hard to split that.
Giants have got a good run after the bye. I think Anderson will have less tags after the bye, so it's I think all of them are pretty much in that same bucket. But yeah, pretty close that one. Reese says Green or Steele. I think probably depending on buys, who works better for your buys and primos, but if it doesn't matter, is it Jack Steele?
Yeah.
Or is it Tom Green for the sugar hit?
Steele for me.
I think I'm Steele as well. I think I'm Steele. Schultzy, what mid should I get if the Saints buy is bad for me? If the Saints buy is bad for you, it means round 13 means you can get round 14, 15, or 16. So you've got Nick Dacos is almost not a bad option now if Finn's the sub. You got Noah Anderson's the same buy. Isaac Heaney's cheap. And then you go round 15. I think Jordan Dawson's really the only one, but if you've got the money, it's expensive. And then round 16, you've got obviously you would have had a few guys last night. Jai Caldwell next week still is a shout, but obviously we're going to be looking at round 12 guys, I think, from next week. I think you've got Tom Green, you've got Max Holmes, and put him in the mids for a week. Those are probably the ones. Anyone I missed there, Jordox, in any of those buys?
No, I reckon you've covered it. it.
Will Byatt said, but Roy said that Myers was number one trade target. Well, that's fine. People got different opinions. That's if Roy says Roy's pretty good with his trade target. So if Roy's saying he's up there, then go that. But at the end of the day, like people say different things, right? I think Myers is a solid target. I'm just saying that I'd probably go for someone else. So it just depends where we go, and that's what makes fantasy great, right? Everyone's got different opinions and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we all have to make our own calls. Unfortunately,
you know how to tell who's right. Wait for Monday, because that's the only way you get the answer after the fact.
Yeah. What do we got? Reese Bell, have Tom Green, Max, or Baz? Who would you VC and C? I'd go Max and a Baz, number 2 and a number 1. That's what I'd do. If you do want to check out the captain video, I did that yesterday. Did a bit more in depth of all the top 10 options plus a few others. So if you want to check that out, it's on the channel. Ryan Morty went short trainer and Reed to Caldwell, Clark, and Anderson. Is there a better option that's under 976 any position? Already have Holmes. 20K. I would have said Sinclair if you didn't have Sinclair. I still like Anderson. I still like Anderson. He's still a good target. I'm just saying when I'm looking at Anderson, I'm splitting hairs and saying there's a potential tension. I still like Anderson. I think he's still a good target. So I'd be still happy with those trades.
Yeah.
We'll go a couple more as we finish up now. Doug Fitzpatrick, wife's ranked 36. She went Sheasel, Trainer, and Reed to Clark, Ash, Martin said playing aggressive. Oh, if your wife's ranked 36, I think we need to listen because she's going very, very well. Obviously
Sheasel,
Trainer and Reed. Getting Martin and Ash is very aggressive, but I also like it in that position. Get aggressive, get those scores, keep the points going. I like it. It's a decent play, and you can always get Sheasel back at some point. He's going to be about the same price anyway. So, Doug Fitzpatrick said, I'm ranked 5,200 behind her. Happy house, apparently.
That's all right.
Mate, hopefully it might be able to catch up a little bit of ground and see where it happens there. But hopefully, guys, both going pretty well. Top around the 5K or ahead of that, still pretty good this time of the year.
Yeah.
Final question will go from Will Bite. VC on Brayshaw or Dawson? That is the question of the night. I'm currently on Brayshaw, but I'm also thinking maybe go Dawson for the ceiling score because you got Baz. It's a buy round. A few things I'm still contemplating. They're 8v9 Jordox.
I'm on Dawson.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Limit says back your boy. Yeah, I might have to back my boy. Thinking about it because, as I said, Brayshaw's probably likely to score between a 105 and 115, whereas Dawson is either going to go less than 110 or 120 plus. I don't think he's going to just get this. Sorry, he's going to go 100 or less, or he's going to go 115 plus. And he's not going to, I don't think he's going to give you that score where it's like, do you take it or not? Whereas Brayshaw's very likely to give you that score.
It'll be definitive, won't it? What's he done? Yeah, he's done a lot of 120s, 120 plus, hasn't he?
Well, normally when Dawson goes over 100, he goes 120. And the only game he didn't was that game against Freo when he was on 100 at three-quarter time. He had a 0-point quarter because Nick's decided, let's just park Dawson at full forward for the whole last quarter, which was a very weird decision. But I don't think they're going to be doing that again in that situation, even though he's kicked some goals this year and has been very, very good. We'll fit this one in quickly from Schultze. Says, Short to Anderson, Reid to Holmes, Cleary to Clark. Thoughts? Tick, tick, tick from me.
Well played.
Exactly.
Well played.
Alrighty, well, we will wrap up. We've gone just over the hour mark, so we'll wrap up now. I'll be doing, obviously, the watch-along starting in just over 20 minutes. So if you guys do want more questions answered, just want to relax and chill with Bales for a few hours and watch the game tonight, chat really anything outside of fantasy as well, happy to do that as well, then tune in over on the watch along on YouTube starting at 7:30 Eastern. Yeah, maybe do another watch along tomorrow night. We will see. And if you do want a guaranteed answer overnight, because I will be quite busy after the watch along tonight and then tomorrow, head to our Patreon, patreon.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics, where you get every patron member gets a team review. And they also get weekly Q&As. They get other bonus content in there as well. So if you guys would like to join up on the Patreon, head over to the link in the description or head to askmeonq.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics to get your one-off question answered with a personalized audio response. But Patreon members do get that for free with their membership. So if you'd like to do that, then head over to one of the links in the description. Moonboy saying, smash up the likes. Yes, mate. Please do that. If you are tuning in live, please smash a like on the video and subscribe to our channel. We are just over 100 away from 4,000 subscribers, which is absolutely nuts. You guys have absolutely smashed it this year and continue to smash it week in, week out. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. We have content daily on the channel, so make sure you guys do head over. Jordox, for the people that missed before, what are your trades this week and your captain and vice captain?
Yeah, well, it's changed. So I'm glad I jumped on because I was going to grab Stuart. But no, at the moment, I've gone Hawley to Angus Clark, and then I'm going to go Trainer and Cooper Simpson to 2 of McAuliffe, Berry, Sheldrick. I'm leaning towards the top 2. And Vicing Dacos tonight, which I think will be more popular now that Finn McGuinness is the sub. And then I'll probably roll into Baslenka Sunday night.
Yeah. I like it. My trades, a couple locked in last night. So Luke Trainer down to Angus Clark, Matt Carroll to Kyle Lohman, and I've gone at the moment Ryan Marrick up to Chad Warner for the buy there. But if my scores aren't looking great, I may hold Marrick and trade Caleb Daniel to get that score in this week. But I've got until last game to adjust it anyway, which is good. So that's what I'm looking at doing. At the moment, VC is Brayshaw into Baz, but I'm also looking at Dawson. I might consider Nick Dacos tonight, but I feel like if I rush into that and VC him and he doesn't go well, then I'm going to be kicking myself. But he is another option I am considering there tonight if I end up doing that. So, yes, but Jordox, mate, thanks for jumping on. Mate, where can the people find you, find Keep Pod and the subs account?
Yep, at Jordox 2020 on X, and find us Keepers, the podcast I started this year focusing on keeper leagues and dynasty leagues. You can find the X page at Find Keep AFL, and the AFL subs page. I reckon if you're watching this, you're already a part of AFL subs because it's a must-have resource for any fanatic like yourself. At AFL subs on X. That's it. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Love it, mate. And you can find me at BAILSDT. You can find us at AFL Fantasy Fans across the socials. We will be back on Sunday night, recapping the round after the final game. Will be a later stream, obviously, with the fact that the last game is a night game. So I know Jordox won't be on because he'll be in bed. But I'm sure we'll have a couple of people on chatting the round. So maybe Guesty, maybe Jordy, maybe a special guest. We'll see how it goes. There, we'll catch you guys on Sunday night. Have a good weekend, guys. Hopefully you guys can smash it a good score and can rise up those ranks for the first week of the bye. So thanks, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. See ya.
See ya.